Restoring old steam toys, a small brass traction engine. This is part 3. Using my ultrasonic cleaner caused a slight problem with the lime scale inside the boiler, which was easily rectified. Cleaning off the white residue after the ultrasonic treatment. How to make new parts look old by restoring the patina or patina. And finally, a short compressed air test. Here are the original parts in the basket that goes into the ultrasonic cleaner. Because I live by myself, I can have an ultrasonic cleaner on the draining board. And here in the sink, I'm filling a pan with very hot water. Once there is sufficient hot water in the ultrasonic cleaner's tank, I'm going to add some of this stuff. It's Carbusonic Ultrasonic Carburetor Cleaner, EP24R. This is really great stuff to use and does not attack the metal. My ultrasonic cleaner tank has a capacity of 15 litres. And I need to fill it with water first, or at least 3/4 full. Then I add the carbusonic liquid, followed by the engine parts in the basket. I have found a problem when ultrasonically cleaning small boilers. The lime scale inside the boiler suddenly appears on the outside of the boiler and coats all the parts, which leaves a white residue on all of the parts that needs cleaning off, first of all by running it under a hot tap, then cleaning the components using WD-40 or 3-in-1 oil and a toothbrush. Here I'm switching on the machine. The left-hand display shows the temperature. The water temperature in the tank is currently at 59 degrees. I've set it to 66. All this does is keeps the water hot. As I start the ultrasonic cleaning process, the temperature initially drops, but after a while the temperature does start to rise. Here it's just hit 64. After half an hour in the machine, I run the parts under the hot tap in the sink and clean them using a basting brush that I normally use for cooking. I put the brush in the dishwasher afterwards, and so far I've not poisoned myself. The cleaned parts are in the basket, and this is a good time to thank all the viewers who sent me messages regarding my prostate cancer treatment, which started yesterday. The setup day, the proper treatment starts on the 30th of May 2004. This white residue is difficult to remove. As you can see, it's just about everywhere over the engine. Even though I've run it under the hot tap, it remains. I used 3-in-1 oil and later some WD-40 with this paintbrush, which removed all of the white staining. It's time now to remove the wheels so I can clean the inside parts. Not only the inside part of the wheels, but the outside part of the firebox that's covered by the wheels. Here are the 2 rear wheels on the bench before I started cleaning them. Apart from being covered in the white residue, the crankweb had another problem. The patina was very patchy, due to the oil. I decided to clean this up using a different method. I put it in the chuck of my Warco M180 lathe and very carefully used some Scotch-Brite to clean it up, and now it's quite shiny. I don't mind this, I think the crankweb looks okay shiny, but other parts need to match the engine. Cleaning these rear wheels was the most difficult because there are many spokes and they're very close together. Eventually, after a bit of effort, the parts are starting to look a bit cleaner, but I've still missed some bits. I think it's time to call in some WD-40. This made cleaning the parts a whole lot easier. I want the front of the smoke box, which is badly tarnished, not to be badly tarnished. I need it to be quite polished. I didn't use my polishing spindle though, that would have rounded the edges. Holding the part in the jaws by the inside, I spun it in the lathe and cleaned it up using some Scotch-Brite. This engine looks to me like a portable engine that wouldn't be self-powered. It does have a facility though to fit a drive band, so I'm just checking that it lines up, should I ever need to fit one, which is unlikely. I slackened off the slot-headed grub screw and moved the flywheel further away from the bearing. This is the chimney that I repaired in the previous episode, and it's very clean and very shiny. The problem is it now doesn't fit with the appearance of the rest of the engine. The patina or patina of old items is important. I do not want this model to look new. The chimney was a repair and now it looks different to the rest of the engine, which as you've just seen only had a basic clean and has not been polished. I need to re-patinate the chimney to match the rest of the engine. Here I show just one way to do it quickly. I do want certain parts of the engine to be quite bright, the connecting rod and the crankweb. When the engine is in steam, these parts get very hot. The patina will soon return. And now for a really useful top tip time. This is just one of my modest collection of small skulls. It's an egg cup, and I'm putting quite a lot of salt into this. Don't worry, you don't have to use a skull, this is not witchcraft. After the salt, I add vinegar. This is actually proper high quality vinegar. And here I'm stirring the mixture with a paintbrush so that the salt dissolves in the vinegar. Something that I found by experience, you need quite a lot of salt. If you have too much vinegar, it will just pool on top of the brass. And even with the salt it's pooling a little bit. It's possibly a better idea to dip this in a bath of salt and vinegar. But in this case I want the patina or patina to be patchy, just like it is on the rest of the engine with the exception of the connecting rod and the crankweb. I just left it on the bench like this and went to play on my favourite computer game called Skyrim. I wiped the salt and vinegar mix off the chimney when I came back into the workshop and just sat it in the hole, and as you can see it's sort of semi-shiny, semi-patinaed, which is fine, pretty much like the patina on the rest of the engine. It's time for a compressed air test because this engine was brand new when I first got it. I ran it a couple of times but it's not fully run in. I can't do anything else until the safety valve arrives. I ended up buying one, and there will be a steam test. I'll leave the engine running on compressed air to the end of the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.